CCU Chairman Simon Sanchez says GPA's Cabras 1 and 2 power plants are the oldest ones on the island.
You're looking at plants that are 40 years old and aging every day. And we have always known that those plants need the most attention.
A report from GPA consultant McKell & Associates Inc. says that Cabras 1 and Cabras 2 are getting worse. In fact, the consultant estimates that the plants are so inefficient they're costing GPA $19 million a year. However, GPA's management is not fully satisfied with this report.
GPA management was a little concerned about releasing the report because they had not signed off on it yet. They were still going back, and in fact, in my discussions with them, they're suggesting that the consultant's calculations of the estimated value of the fuel that's being lost or wasted is too high, because he looked at the plants sort of in isolation. So I think they're going to ask him to rerun his numbers based on reality more than fixed loads, and they believe that will show that there's less inefficiency. But whether it's $19 million or $10 million or $5 million, we need to do everything we can at GPA to make them efficient, to not use more oil than necessary.
CCU Chairman Simon Sanchez says that they have a plan and the money in place to upgrade these plants.
In the borrowing that we did last year, we have, on my understanding, about $17 million to spend on generation upgrades. And GPA management, I spoke with them this morning, they are going to detail exactly what we're going to spend on Cabras 1 and 2 and how will it address the concerns in this report.
Sanchez says that they can get another 20 to 30 years out of these plants, so they've decided to upgrade them instead of paying the $50 to $100 million it would cost to build new ones. These aren't the only plants that the CCU will be upgrading. Last night, they approved the upgrades to Guam's northern wastewater treatment plant.
It's one of our 7 plants that haven't been in compliance since the 80s. And we've gone almost 30 years with plants that are not treating to EPA specs, and that's not good for our oceans and our environment. It's why we were sued in 2002. We're now finally going to be able to put additional monies into the northern plant.
Construction should begin within 30 to 60 days and should take 14 months to complete, which means the northern wastewater treatment plant should be in full compliance with EPA standards by January of 2013. The upgrades will also increase capacity from 6 million gallons a day to 7.5 million gallons of wastewater per day.
Immediately thereafter, we have another $10–12 million to be spent on the Agana sewage treatment plant. So we're planning to spend about $25 million on the 2 plants, Northern and Agana, over the next 30 months to bring them into full compliance.
These 2 plants make up 70% of the island's wastewater system. This is all just to comply with EPA and meet Guam's organic growth. In other words, these upgrades have nothing to do with the buildup. As for the upgrades needed for the Guam military buildup, there is funding that was supposed to be made available.
As you know, Japan has appropriated $420 million for GWA as part of the buildup. In there's $340 million to move Northern and Agana to secondary treatment, and we're still hopeful that that money will flow to Guam. The buildup's on hold. I mean, we're watching the Super 12 make decisions that by Thanksgiving. You have Panetta running around the region telling Japan it's still committed. When are you moving Futenma? So the administration at least is saying this buildup's still going to happen. It may happen a little slower, but the basic concept is still move Futenma and relocate a Marine base.